possible. So my name is James from Hong Kong. Good afternoon. So I'm from the Construction Industry Council in Hong Kong. So I'll talk about how the journey in Hong Kong, how we try to drive the adoption of robots and automation in Hong Kong construction industry. And actually, we start with collaboration with Thomas and also Professor Thomas Bock with the picture you can see, which is a prototype for a painting robot for Hong Kong high-rise buildings. So very quickly about the CIC. So we are a statutory body in Hong Kong to drive the development of the whole construction industry in Hong Kong. And to put it in a layman term, we try to make the industry in Hong Kong, construction, to be safer, faster, cheaper, and greener. So today's presentation, I'll focus on three questions. Why we try to adopt or driving the adoption of robotics and automation in construction, what is the current situations, and how we have been driving it. So in terms of construction volume in Hong Kong, even though we are a small city, the construction volume is up to 320 billion Hong Kong dollars per year, which is around 40 billion US dollars. So you can see this is one of the challenges that we have to face. On top of that, the construction workers here in Hong Kong, we are facing quite a series of aging workforce. Like 44% of the workers are aging, are older than 55 years old. And you can see from this graph, the construction, our productivity has been increasing quite mildly compared to service industry and manufacturing industry. We also generate a lot of construction waste every day. In terms of safety, even though the accident rate has been decreasing over the past years, the fatalities in our industry is still quite alarming. For example, you can see from the graph, on average, over the past 20 years, we have 20 workers died in our industry. So that's why our industry has been trying to move on and change how we can build from a very labor-intensive way to, for example, off-site construction as well as automation and robotics. And also government has issued so-called publications called Construction 2.0, which is promoting innovation, professionalization, and revitalizations. So in terms of what, in Hong Kong, we are still actually in the infant stage of adoption of robotics in construction, but we start to adopt in a number of ways. The most common way, of course, would be the UAV, the drones for site inspection and so on, surveying. And recently, our government department named Civil and Engineering Development Department has been adopting the robotic dogs for their sloping works or confined space to do some inspection. And also another department, Drainage Services Department in Hong Kong, from the government, they have developed this desilting works in their drainage work to clear some wastage and to save some labor or even very unsafe working space under the ground. More commonly, we have some welding robot adopted in some construction site recently of course, for these structural steel connections, as well as some board piles work as well. And it's not uncommon to have some drilling works. This one is under a tunnel developed by Jogaj. And another one would be the pipe repairing works is developed by Town Gas, one of our utility companies in Hong Kong. So they collaborate with university research team to develop this kind of pipe repairing robot, again, to save some unsafe work. In Hong Kong, we have so many high-rise buildings, so can save some workers working at height. We also have some other robotics adopted in the industry like painting, demolition, plastering, and also material handling. In terms of how, these are the three areas that including CIC, Construction Industry Council, in short CIC, the government, and also relevant bodies to drive the adoption of robotics in construction, including one, R&D support, secondly, certification and recognition, and thirdly, promotion and application. In terms of R&D, in CIC, we have a research fund. Government has also, of course, their research fund. So this is one of the funded project in Hong Kong, which is being done by a contractor, a local contractor in Hong Kong. So they are trying to develop under a lift shaft to develop a robot arm to do some grinding and lift shaft bracket installation work in this very dangerous zone in construction site. And also on the right hand side would be the robotics catalyzing center developed by the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park. So actually it provides a working space and also prototyping services for the solution providers to conduct some integration, assembly, validation, and to complete their factory acceptance tests for their robots. Certification and recognition. So now CIC is trying to develop a certification scheme for construction robots. So we start with 3 trades: welding, painting, and plastering. So as long as the robot qualified or passed the test on 3 items, one is safety, the other is quality, and also the functional. For example, how they can move along the construction site, for example. Then they'll be getting certificates, so that the demand side, the contractors will be having better confidence to adopt the construction robot at their site, at the construction site. And also from the supply side, the robot suppliers also have a standard to achieve. What would be the safety requirements, what would be the quality requirements, and so on, so that they can achieve and to be certified. So as to stimulate demand and supply for the construction robots in Hong Kong, also in overseas. For recognition, we also organize twice a year the Construction Innovation Award. So last award, we in the international category, we awarded the Robotics in Singapore because of their painting robot and also inspection robots to get the international grand prize. So anyone you are interested to apply, so next year would be a chance to apply for our Construction Innovation Award. So finally would be the promotion and application. So in CIC, we have been promoting a lot of new technologies, advanced materials, and so on through various webinars and shows. For example, in 2019 and also next year, we will be having a large-scale construction innovation expo in Hong Kong. So again, if you'll be interested to showcase your products, you can contact me and see how we can engage you to showcase your construction robot in our expo next year, December. And also we organize every year with a science parks, some symposium on construction robotics and automation. We also have a physical so-called CITEC, Construction Innovation and Technology Application Center, which is a physical site to showcase latest technologies and also including robotics. And also we have to mention that in Hong Kong, the government in Hong Kong has been inject some money, is 1 billion Hong Kong dollars so that the construction contractors or consultant or even clients, if they are interested to apply some new technologies like robotics, but they lack of some financial support, this CITF fund is supporting that. And also in Hong Kong, just one last point is that in some clients' bodies. For example, we call Housing Authority in Hong Kong, who is responsible for providing public housing in Hong Kong. In their tendering process, they actually have assigned some score for contractors who can apply robotics in their project. So that's all for my presentation. So you can see my email. If you need to connect me, feel free to email me. Thank you.
Excellent, James. Thanks a lot. Same as for Tobias. I think there would be